Our next artist is more than an artist. I've got your bio here, but I know her personally. She's an amazing, amazing soul. And it's Penny Clement. She's an artist who creates tarot and oracle cards. She created a painting for each card, channeled the message, and publishes the decks. That's amazing. She has just completed Tree Talk oracle cards. This makes 5 decks that she has made since she started in 1999. Over the years, she has discovered that not only does she create the paintings are creating her. For her Soul Talk, she will be sharing paintings and the story of how they worked with her. Please put your hands together and welcome to Sax Soul Talks, Penny Clement.
Thank you. I'm deeply grateful for this opportunity to share my experiences because I feel like there's a message in them for everyone. And I love the idea that this is my thank you to God because God has directed my life as an artist from the very beginning. I knew when I was growing up that I was not an artist. I mean, I was born in the 40s, in the 50s. You had to be born an artist. You had to be special. You had to have all this ability, all this talent, and just know how to do it. And that wasn't me. But one day I prayed about what I really wanted to do in life, which is a whole story in itself, and the answer was be an artist. And of course I immediately said, well, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. And they just said, you don't know what you can do. You're only using a small part of your brain. There's a lot more available. So I made an agreement. I said, okay, I'll go as far as I can go, and when I can't go any further, I'll stop. Well, I haven't stopped. That was back in the 70s when I made that agreement. And what I've discovered about being an artist is what you really need is not talent, it's persistence. Persistence. If you keep doing it long enough, it just tells you what it wants. So I wanted to share these 2 paintings with you today because they're kind of recent in my history, so I can remember what's going on in there. But they had such a strong impact on me. This painting is really about emerging, and this little gray line here is very important, because that is the gray covering we put around ourselves to protect ourselves, so that we'll fit in, so that people won't see who we really are for whatever reason. And I knew what to do, but the day I went to draw this painting, I got so tired, I had to go home. And all of a sudden, for no reason that I knew, it just became a hard experience. And I fought it for a little bit, and then finally I said, I give up. I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. These decks are just too hard. They're taking too much out of me. I quit. Not only that, once you start quitting, it just keeps going. I'm going to go home. No. I'm going to quit being an artist. I'm not going to do any more decks. Well, maybe I'll just die. Why am I still living here? It's to do my art, do my decks. Maybe I'll just die. And I was pretty sincere at that moment about that. Well, I went home, and I was very fortunate. I had choir practice that night at Spiritual Life Center. As you know, Spiritual Life Center is a special place. And one of the songs we were given that we were going to sing was, yes, I will. I will do what you call me to do. Yes, I agree. And as I'm singing away, yes, I agree, I knew I couldn't die. I couldn't quit. I had my decks to do. And so, I'd better go do them. So the next day I was smart. I stayed home and just slept and restored myself. And then I went back to my studio. I finished drawing the painting and I started painting on it. But it was still hard. It was still trying to figure out the colors. Usually, I just kind of feel and I just kind of know, but I wasn't getting the information I needed. But I just kept working at it because I had agreed. So, I did all this part. This is about waking up and allowing your cosmic understanding to come in. And I did the body. This is about, all the information that's located inside the body. And I worked on the darn bird. These kind of things are always a challenge for me. And I did my little nest in the ground, in the background. But for some reason, I just kept not painting the gray line that was breaking up. Finally, I had enough done after struggling, for as long as it took to do the rest of the painting, and broke down and mixed up my gray paint and put it in. And it was like the gates of heaven just opened. Well, finally, it's about time. This is what the painting's about. And Spirit was so strong. It was like they were yelling at me, "We hate gray. We hate gray. It's nothing. If you're going to be black, be black. If you're going to be white, be white. Don't just settle for the middle. Don't just settle for the least possible. Don't just settle for, what people want you to be. Be yourself. Make a statement. So what if it's wrong? Who cares?" They just went on and on and on and on and on. And the whole energy shifted. I was so energized. And these eggs down here are the eggs of your potential that we incubate within ourselves. They're all based on all this wonderful energy that flows through. And there's a big conversation about those eggs that, they're colored like Easter eggs because they're special. They're new life forming. But if you don't hatch them, if you just hang on to them because you're too gray to let them out and too cautious, they die. The eggs of your potential have to be allowed to express themselves. So this was really an important painting for me, just because of this process I went through. But afterwards, I looked at it some more for myself, and I said, why was it physically hard for me to paint this painting? And I got, somehow or another, there's a part of me that just did not want me to get out of that gray cloak. It just did everything it could not to let me come to that point where I was willing to let that gray covering dissolve or break up or, work my way through it, which was kind of surprising to me because I thought, I've, like all of you, I'm sure, have done a lot of work on yourself and you've had all these breakthroughs and I've been there with all of you for many, many years. So I was just surprised, but it was interesting to see there's still that part in there that wants to stay covered up and stay protected and tone it down and don't really speak your piece. So anyway, after that experience of actually letting that gray go, I was able to do this painting. Just stick it right here. And this is my yes painting. Yes. If you're willing to emerge and be a yes, you can do anything. It all becomes available. You have all the information you need. Your little nest is empty because the eggs have hatched and they have flown out into the world. And so I love this painting. Well, I love that one too. But so anyway, with that, I will wind this up. I just encourage all of you, and I know you are here because you are artists, whatever form, if you do your art, you'll learn a lot.